Moving on to strategic management. So for visible practices, this is focusing on yerba madre. Um, they very well use a lot of environmental responsibility through using regenerative, organic, certified farming practices. I believe that's what's called. So that helps restore ecosystems while also promoting those sustainable agricultural practices. And this kind of commitment to those regenerative practices kind of sets them apart from other companies within the wellness drink market industry. And this also strengthens their brand as being recognized as environmentally conscious. And then moving on, they do have a lot of community engagement out in South America. So they've partnered with, I think it's close to 250, small scale farmers out there, along with indigenous communities. So that kind of secures more of a fair trade practice between those people and the company, along with supporting a more locally empowered network. So this not only benefits the company itself, but also those working with them as it aligns with the ethical business approach, kind of resounding what consumers want to hear when it comes to prioritizing social responsibility. And then for product development, Yerba Madre has always been innovating within product development. So such things are seasonal products such as Water Melody, where they want to kind of apply themselves more towards health conscious consumers looking for those low sugar drinks, along with functional beverages. So this kind of ability to adapt to consumer preferences can kind of lead them to having more strong output in the competitive market that they're in. And then also cultural authenticity. So this kind of rebranding that they had formerly from Gyaki to Yerba Madre, that highlights their commitment to how they want to be culturally authentic. So it's connecting the brand more towards those cultural roots, reflecting themselves with those indigenous cultures and traditions that's related to the company. And when they're kind of doing that, and that will apply mostly to a brand identity, it will also, though, appeal to those, again, seeking out that genuine cultural awareness and social awareness within the brand. And then, so for our best practices for ourselves when it came to this specific research was task specialization. So basically, we would specialize ourselves on certain sections based on what we're good at or our expertise per se. So a good example could be like someone's focused on a certain analysis, what's financial or marketing, while the other's focused on more of a cultural context. So it's kind of diving into, we can kind of pick ourselves apart with our interests and our goals and along with what we're really good at in expressing. And this sort of practice helped us dive deeper into our respective areas, along with producing a much more quality final report. And then, so just moving on quicker is progress tracking. So as you know, we've used Microsoft Teams to communicate. And while we can also communicate, we also learned how to manage ourselves by covering tasks and deadlines a lot more quickly. This kind of helped with tracking progress and also holding each other accountable. And by doing that, it was very essential as well for organizing our documents. It helped a lot, though, with kind of aligning ourselves with being more consistent with the projects, and has helped a lot. And then also continuous feedback. Always being sure to review our work has been very important to us. So after each meeting, we would take time to reflect on what well, and also what needs to be improved. And through doing this kind of open exchange, it kind of helped us make a lot more efficient real-time adjustments, as well as needing to improve our quality of work in other areas, which led us to a much better path towards our final piece of the project. And then ending it for best practices was conflict resolution. Teams can always come in with a big disagreement, and some can handle it well, some can't. So kind of prevent that negative reaction, we prioritized heavily open communication and always work towards an end goal. So this sort of resolution kind of ensured that all of our voices were heard and that decisions were made as a whole rather than kind of individually here and individually over there. And this kind of kept our project moving a lot more forward smooth, and prevented those small issues from turning into humongous obstacles. And then for the recommendations that we wanted to provide, so we had 5 And so to start off, we're going to talk about improving communication for Yerba Mate, Madre. So in the company, having internal communication can always be beneficial, as using certain tools such as CRM tools or project management software. This kind of clears up communication and can align teams with a more smooth collaboration effort as long as the company grows. And then also broadening that market coverage. Knowing that the business is still growing, we want to make sure for them that targeting those certain people that are using can kind of reach out to those customers. So we talked about utilizing those organic grocery stores, whether it's Whole Foods, whether it's Market of Choice stores like that, or even fitness centers. So it could be gyms, including stores that sell like fitness products, where it's pre-workout and stuff like that. Just those drinks can kind of spread that word of mouth as consumers come by those products. It can also increase visibility very heavily. Pardon me, I really need to have some water here. And then moving forward is planning more towards the long term. So what this entails is ensuring that their supply chain remains very strong when it comes to those external disruptions, especially environmental disruptions, whether there's certain product shortages in raw materials. So basically, this kind of helps safeguard their ability to continue sourcing out those high quality ingredients that they want to use as they face the arising issues of climate change. And as well, there is digital presence. This is also a recommendation that we came up with, as we want to make sure in this modern time that increasing that social media engagement can focus very well with showcasing commitment to sustainability. And also, we want to make sure it can provide through digital marketing campaigns, such as showing community involvement with the small farmers, along with that product innovation with those low sugar drinks. So basically, this will help them reach more of a broader version of the health conscious market, especially for younger people as well, considering that millennials and Gen Z are much more often on social media, including Snapchat, TikTok, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And lastly is implementing that feedback system, kind of like how we did it. So this will include just regular employee surveys. It can also be performance reviews, just to gather insights on how Yerba Madre can improve internally and also continue to foster that positive work culture that they've always been working towards. So by having this kind of feedback loop in place, they can kind of make adjustments where it will support the long-term growth and efficiency of the company.